The rut is underway in Scotland and we have two films to celebrate. We're out after a red stag on the north coast of Sutherland. Plus in forestry we're looking for close quarters action from a Sika stag.
Sometimes you'll hear them whistling around you, but then other times you can just go in and work away and stuff comes to you.
Plus we're giving away a 410 shotgun, we have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. Majestic, aren't they? And exhausting. Mark Kahn looks after sports optics manufacturer Leica's hunting optics, its rifle scopes, thermal units and famous range-finding binoculars. When he comes to try them out during the red rut on ground in northwest Sutherland, he realises he could be fitter.
Made it to the hill. Damn hard work for me, but scenery's great anyway. And there's a lot of deer, it's just getting onto them. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful scenery. A day like today, it's unbelievable.
Local stalker Malcolm Morrison is guiding Mark. Earlier, he took Mark to a scrap of land to check he can hit a target. As he's an optics expert, Mark is well placed to answer a question that is often asked on deer stalking forums. What default magnification does he set on his scope?
That one was set at 8. I personally don't like to be too high magnification. I remembered what a stalker told me many years ago, which was he was uncertain about high magnification. Maybe an inexperienced stalker sets it too high and it looks closer than it does. So I tend to keep mine at 8 times magnification, which coincided with my binoculars, which were also 8 times magnification. So I used both of them in conjunction with each other, obviously.
Mark passes the straight shooting test and the pair of them head up the hill. There's no shortage of animals, but this is a land of high visibility, which means Mark is matching his company's optics against all the senses of stags and wary hinds.
Well, we've identified some stags. So we're just waiting for our guide to come down. I want to test the geovid with the distance. The geovids have picked up some stags, so hopefully we'll have a successful stalk.
Well, the geovid's done its work. The next part is down to you, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's a difficult bit because I know the geovids work.
We find the stag that Malcolm wants to take. It's a big animal, but at 10 years old it's starting to go back, so it's time to take it off the hill and let its sons and nephews take its place. Mark gets into position. The hinds spot him and they move their friends and family up the hill. They don't move far, but it's as if the wily animals place sentries to watch out for our approach. It's a standoff. Mark and Malcolm wait for a change of guard and then use the opportunity to move up closer. They spot the stag. It's on the skyline and it is surrounded by hinds. An impossible shot. The pair of them crawl around beneath the herd to a rocky knoll. They now have to wait for a clear heart shot and no hinds as backstop. Despite the nervousness of the hinds, the stag starts to roar and strut about. This could be Mark's chance. The next problem is that the animal and its hinds are drifting away from Mark and are in danger of moving out of sight. As the hinds part, it's now or never. Pumped up for the rut, the stag reacts well, but Mark is not sure it's a killing shot. He has to wait for the hinds to clear before he puts in another. This time it's a dead cert and that means a dead stag. Here's the story from Mark's point of view.
Well, we came across a herd and with a single stag, and the guide said, right, we're getting to position, we'll wait. We moved forward about another 40 metres, had it in my sights. It had a lot of hinds around it at the time, so we waited for them to move away. Shot, I knew it was a hit, and it moved away slightly to our right. The hinds disappeared, and then it came back, stood still, and the guide said, let's have another one, and with a successful result at the end of it.
That was the first stag holding hinds on that part of the hill. It weighed 20 stone undressed, which is good for this part of Scotland. The Red Rut is now well underway in the Scottish Highlands. If you're not there this year, book for next year and get a bit of that majesty. Thank you, Mr. Khan and Mr. Morrison, for a glorious day on the hill. Now, from beasts to Meredyth on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. Country people are at danger of attack by antis, new footage shows. A hunt sab has been filmed carrying a lump of concrete. He or she is part of a gang of sabs intimidating people enjoying a legal trail hunt in Cheshire. They are wearing balaclavas so that the police can't identify them. The sab is shown hiding the concrete from trail hunters in a car, though it is clearly visible to people in another car. UK gun owners beware, the police are looking at firearms licensing process. The Association of Police and Crime Commissions is running a questionnaire about public opinions on current licensing procedures. Unfortunately, the survey can be completed repeatedly, which leaves it open to being abused by those who wish to harm the industry and our current licensing strategy. There's a link to it in the description below. Wild Justice is celebrating its legal actions against shooting, which has caused an untold number of rare bird deaths. The group, led by BBC celebrity Chris Packham, forced DEFRA to introduce restrictions on releasing pheasants near triple SIs. Wild Justice claims its actions represent a massive reform of game bird shooting, despite a judge ridiculing its legal action as a waste of public money. Chris Packham is again blurring the lines of BBC advertising rules for its employees. On Twitter, he gushes over a beer he claims helps conservation. "I love this," he writes, adding the cans are beautifully adorned with an African wild dog and the pangolin. BBC guidelines say alcohol advertising should not be carried in or around any BBC products and services aimed at children. Since a large chunk of Packham's followers are teenagers too young to drink alcohol, this rule should probably apply. However, the BBC also forbids employees from political lobbying on social media, and that hasn't stopped Packham doing it. The RSPB has been spreading misinformation about raptor persecution, again pointing the finger at gamekeepers. The charity claims it receives reports every week of raptors being shot, trapped or poisoned. It adds that many more go undetected and unreported. As illustration, the RSPB points to 2 peregrines it claims were poisoned in Shropshire. The case dates from 2017 and did not lead to a prosecution. The RSPB post about it this week includes a call to change your will in the RSPB's favour. One of the UK's top deer experts has died. Richard Pryor wrote a number of books, including Roe Deer, Management and Stalking. He grew up in Devon before moving to Cranbourne Chase in Dorset in the early 1960s. During his career, he was a Forestry Commission head ranger and a deer consultant both to private estates and the Game and Wildlife Conservation Trust. A Scottish farming family has spoken of its anguish after sea eagles took 220 of its lambs. Sea eagle predation along Scotland's western seaboard is becoming a rapidly increasing threat to hill farming as lamb losses mount. Inverray farmers Ricky and Kirsten Rennie lambed their 680 ewes indoors, but still lost a large proportion of them to 6 pairs of sea eagles which patrol their farm. The Roy Dennis Foundation led the local sea eagle release project on Mull. A new grouse moor means new hope for upland wildlife. Tayside and Central Scotland Moorlands Group releases this film of a grit mound under construction. It will hold a tray of medicated grit, reducing diseases in birds, and provide a vantage point for cockbirds to view their territories. It is at an undisclosed location because of attacks by antis. The Derby Hunt Saboteurs held a march in Manchester during the Conservative Party conference. It consisted of one marcher and a police presence of 5 officers. According to photos released by the group at its height, it attracted 3 marchers. Animals have dwindled in novels since 1835. That's the conclusion of a new study in the journal People and Nature. It claims that animals are being written out of novels at a similar rate to their extinction in the real world. The German Centre for Integrative Biodiversity Research searched the entire online Project Gutenberg archive of 60,000 texts written between 1705 and 1969. They found that since 1835, animal usage in fiction, other than domesticated beasts such as horses and dogs, or threat animals such as bears or lions, has dwindled. Anti-shooting lawyers in Barcelona are calling for the sterilisation of wild boars. The Commission for the Protection of Animal Rights of the Barcelona Bar Association is calling for the Barcelona City Council to trap boar, inject them with contraceptive vaccines and release them because they say killing the beasts is unacceptable. And finally, hogs mug Shakira. Pop singer Shakira says she was attacked by wild boars in a Barcelona park. The singer relayed the incident in an Instagram story in which she shows a torn and dirty bag to the camera and described how the animals had tried to make off with it. She claims the pigs tried to steal her phone. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, Meredyth. David will have to grow his hair long again if he wants to match that. Now some competition news. Viking Arms is running a Spot the Bird competition and 3 lucky winners are going to get a goodie bag including a gun cleaning kit and other merch. To enter, follow the link in the description below and good luck. Next, let's hear from Paul Childerley about hatchets and axes.
They're all different weights, different sizes, different lengths for different jobs really. One axe can do most things, but obviously if you're cutting through bigger, thicker wood, you need something with a bit more weight behind it. Longer handles, it gives you the momentum to chop. But these smaller axes are great for like kindling, small trees. These are quite good because they've got a hard rear butt so you can do staples, knocking in pegs, tent pegs. Nice plastic handle, it's fantastic because it's like obviously got the non-slip part of the handle there, but your hand don't slip off the end. So if you're giving it a good old belt, your hand won't slip straight off the end, which is great. This is a shorter, smaller axe, good for kindling or just close, short work. It's got the same head as the other one. And then this is a bit more of a universal type axe. I use this one quite a lot. Same thing again, nice grip at the back, nice non-slip grip. You see where the texture change there, same as the knives, which is great. So it's minimum effort for maximum effect. So it is, for me, a cracking bit of kit. And as you can film it there, David, look at this. If I magic, follow my hand. Are you following? Oh yes! Check that out, as if by magic. So this guy at the back is really handy. It's cracking, cracking little bit of a kit. It's got a magnetic on the base of the pommel there. Straight back up in, job done. So yeah, that's a good all-round tool for the job, that is. It's the hardest bit, I think. A nice straight wedge. Nice sink in that. Using both parts of the axe. So using this half the axe, the back side of the axe on the far cut, and on this side of the tree using the front side of the axe. Okay, so basically you're evening off your cuts, and then you tap it in from the back. About there somewhere. Oh. And same on this side. Ready? Hopefully we shake timber. Easy. Trim off, job done. And then on these smaller stuff, when you're doing kindling, you know, again, you don't want to be swinging from up here because you're not accurate. Obviously I'm not going to split this because well, I'll give it a go, but it's a bit wet and not really what you use. But yeah, so basically if I was doing kindling, I'll be doing stuff from this sort of distance. So I'll basically be from here, and as the blade comes down to the piece of wood, my hand sort of leaves last second. And it is, you know, when you're tired, you've been working hard, or you've been stuck in the bush for 3 days, minimal food. Yeah, so it gives you a bit of an idea what to do.
Now, more commercial news. We're going to be at the British Shooting Show 2022. If you're planning to go, the ticket website is live. You can visit it at bit.ly/BSS2022. Judging by the shows I've been to so far this year, with everyone keen to put the last 2 years behind them, it's going to be a good one. From the NEC to Scotland next, where there's an exotic invader that lives alongside the native red deer and even hybridises with them. The Sika rut takes place at the same time as the red rut, but it's completely different stalking, as Michael Brown from Blaser is about to find out.
I'm straight on at the moment. Shoot the f***ing thing. Just shoot it.
It's always good to have clear, precise instructions from the stalker, and they don't come much clearer than that. It's the start of the Sika rut, and we're in northwest Scotland with Michael Brown from Blaser, who's after a Sika stag guided by local stalker and deer manager John Dodd. This isn't your typical Highland hill stalking. It's exciting, close quarters stuff, more like jungle warfare deep inside the dense forestry plantations.
Well, they originated not far from here, well, less than 3 kilometres from this bit. Hence the reason there's such a high population here and the quality's quite good. Certainly an abundance of them now. They're really well suited to this area. They certainly enjoy the lodgepole and Sika plantations, and yeah, they do well here. Every deer population needs controlled in one way or another, but most of these are commercial woodlands, so obviously deer populations need to be kept in line.
We're in the forest at first light and set off on foot down the track. Michael is carrying his Blaser R8 rifle in 6.5 Creedmoor, fitted with a scope that's probably better for the hill than for this kind of work, a Blaser 4-20 by 58. We walk slowly, John spotting as we go with his Pulsar Accolade thermal binoculars. He's accompanied by his German short-haired pointer Boss, who constantly checks the wind for deer scent. So what does he reckon is better for finding deer, the thermal or the dog?
I think you need the combination, to be honest.
Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Saying that, the thermal is a lifesaver, but the dog, you wouldn't go out without it. It's certainly not in woodland. It's pretty much a necessity.
We spot a few hinds from the track, but the Sika like to lurk in the cover of the trees. To find the stag we're after, we're going to have to go inside. It's tough going. The branches are close together and we're stumbling over the deep furrows made when the trees went in. The deer have the advantage over us in this environment. They slip through the forest like ghosts, appearing and disappearing without a sound. You can spot a deer, blink, and it's vanished. John has a trick up his sleeve.
Yeah, the stag whistle. If you've never heard it before, it could be a bit eerie. I don't know, but they seem to come in quite well, so I don't know what's going on in their head. I'd imagine they're coming to investigate to see if there's another male within their area. Sika's quite territorial, especially when it's rutting in it. Sometimes you'll hear them whistling around you, but then other times you can just go in and work away and stuff comes to you.
We move slowly through the forest, stopping every 100 yards or so to sit and try a call. We strain our eyes, peering through the trees for a movement that might mean an approaching stag. Sometimes there's a distant reply, but so far nothing comes to the call. John checks constantly with the thermal and Boss is always on alert. In the end, it's Michael who spots the stag first. It sneaks in behind us and it's just 40 yards away with its head and much of its body hidden by the trees. It's right behind the cameraman James, who can't turn round for fear the movement will frighten it away. Michael has the scope wound right down to the lowest magnification. He makes ready, but he's not sure whether he should take the shot. John's reply leaves him in no doubt.
Yeah, just f***ing it.
Well done. Good man. Well done.
The shot is good, and the stag goes down. Michael is delighted and a little relieved. So that's the easy part over. Now for the extraction. That's going to mean a hair-raising ride in the Aga cat, which takes almost as long as the stalk itself. Eventually, the job is done. John has a happy customer, and Michael has a nice set of antlers to take home and hang on the wall to remind him of the day. To find out more about Blaser rifles, go to blaser.de. If you want to go stalking with John Dodd, you can contact him via Instagram, link in the description below. Thanks, John and Michael. Now, we have a series of films we recorded at the Carter Jonas Game Fair Theatre in July, which we are putting out as mini podcasts. This week, I talked to Shadow DEFRA Secretary Daniel Zeichner about what the Labour Party really thinks of the countryside and how Daniel's boss, Keir Starmer, wants your vote.
I think Keir's right. You cannot expect to be elected as the government of this country if the whole country can't support you. So we're not expecting everyone, but if we can't speak for rural areas as well as urban areas, then frankly, we don't deserve to be elected. And remember, back in '97, Labour did win many seats, I think about 150 of the rural seats. So it's happened before. I think it's fair to say that people probably have rather lost touch with Labour, so it's up to us to come and listen and learn, and that's what I'm here to do.
There's a link in the description below to take you to the full interview, and in the audio version he talks about shooting sports. Now, did you know, if you become a member of the Fieldsports Nation, you get our weekly show about all the goings on behind Fieldsports Channel scenes. You get the chance to win amazing prizes. This week's prize is a bolt action 410, and you help fund the great stories that are not sponsored, such as my interview with Daniel Zeichner, making it possible for Fieldsports Channel to delve into otherwise unseen topics and keep you up to date with important news. Just follow the link below. Now, from political views of the countryside to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it is Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the best hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Corvid Hunter is hitting the squirrels. This is his first feeder session of the autumn, plus other nature notes. The National Gamekeepers Organisation has put out another powerful film made by TGS Outdoors. This is A Letter to My Child, which carries the message that shooting sports do more for our well-being than can be put into words. A quick blast of quail shooting from Fausti Arms. Here is how they go bird shooting in Italy. Thanks to Patrick Pilleth for sending me this. Operation Noah saw the Rhodesian Game Department save thousands of animals from a Zambezi flood. Thanks to Adrian Burdett for this from American Bob Folkerod, who is on an African hunting adventure. It's a lion hunt, and it's not just a big shot American blatting cats. It gives the local view on both hunting and conservation. Various hunting seasons are getting going across the USA. Phil from Weekend Woodsman is waiting out for a doe with his bow in Ohio and gets one with a high spine shot, maybe not exactly where he aimed. In Australia, Big Boars 1 finds plenty of sign of feral hogs. He sets traps, checks them the following morning, and then gets the results he wants. And finally, something for Andy Crow to try. No coffin blinds, just ghillie suits as Awais Perzada official channel goes duck shooting in Pakistan. That's it for this week. I've put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the I symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. Well, that's it for this week. If you haven't done so, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and Instagram, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.